All right, so welcome. We're going to talk about this this video right here of a Oklahoma woman who has an interaction with a cop over an $80 speed ticket. First thing we're going to do is we're going to watch the video in its entirety, all 3 minutes, in case you haven't seen it.
Well, I did issue for a defective equipment. It's $80. You have till September 16th to take care of this. Get you to sign over the exodus.
So you don't even give a warning for this?
You've been driving around for 6 months like that.
Not truthful.
Well, I'm not going to give you a warning for something you've been driving for 6 months.
But, well, I don't want to sign it because I don't want to pay $80.
You don't want to sign it?
No, because I don't think that I deserve to pay $80 for something that is fixable and I can fix it if that's all you
Go
want.
ahead, step out.
Why?
You're under arrest. Step out. Step out of the vehicle. Step out. Step out. I'm giving you a lawful order. Step out.
You be fair with me and I'll be fair with you.
Step out.
No.
You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
I'm placing you under arrest. Step
You
out.
are full of because you're not placing me under no arrest.
Do not take off.
Shut up and give me that and I'll sign it.
Step out.
No.
We're beyond that.
Do you want me
Step
to-
out. Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
You do that to me.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
I am not. You better leave me.
Put your hands behind your
Leave
back!
me alone.
Put your hands behind your back!
No.
Now!
I said leave me alone. I mean it. Leave me alone.
Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back! Lay down and put your hands behind your back!
I will stand up.
Now!
I will stand up.
No, you will not! You're gonna get it again!
What are you?
Do you realize you just got yourself in a whole lot more trouble
What?
for running?
Oh, I didn't run. I told you you weren't going to arrest me. I pulled him here thinking that you would not.
Hurt?
Yeah, I'm hurt.
What hurts?
Everything.
Alright, I got EMS on the way to St. Tiger.
You got a what on the way?
I got an ambulance on the way to check you out.
Ambulance? I don't need an ambulance.
Well, you got tased, so they gotta check you out.
You did not have to taser me.
You wouldn't comply, you wouldn't get out, and then you tried to kick me. So
Why?
yes, I did.
Yeah, I tried to kick you because
Yeah.
I'm a country girl. Because no, I
And
didn't
you got
like being
tased
thrown on
because
the
of
floor.
it.
Yes, and I didn't like being thrown on the ground.
Well, next time, listen to what I'm telling you to do.
So, first off, I assume that video is released by the police department. That's my assumption. What I have read on this does not seem to, it doesn't say one way or the other. But if they released it, they probably didn't mind what was on it, right? It's probably not likely. I don't think that woman is suing anybody. So first off, sorry. Let's go through it now one more time. And let's stop kind of moment by moment as things kind of come up here.
Well, I did issue for a defective equipment. It's $80. You have till September 16th to take care of this. Get you to sign over the exodus.
So you don't even give a warning.
So this woman is obviously does not understand power dynamics. Obviously doesn't understand that. I'm gonna guess that they probably haven't interacted with a cop anytime soon, anytime recently. This person clearly doesn't know the law. I think they can just get a warning. So we're starting from somebody who has low police interactivity. I think that's important to understand and to determine. It's very easy to determine this. I think it can press us going forward in understanding some of her actions.
For this.
You've been driving around for 6 months like that.
I'm truthful.
Well, I'm not going to give you a warning for something you've been driving for 6 months.
I'm truthful. So she willingly said, I've had a broken light. I've had it for 6 months. So there's in every cop, in every thread around like, hey, how do you deal with cops or whatever? Inevitably, someone's going to say, hey, just be honest. It worked really well for me. Every cop I've ever been honest to, I told every one of them that, how many people I'd murdered. Got away with it scot-free. They said, hey, just get along, run along, scamp. Scamp. This is just a terrible idea because that's what this woman thinks. She thinks that she doesn't realize that she's living in a world where cops are going to just kind of take you for whatever you provide them. And this cop, throughout the interaction, honestly, like there's only a handful of moments and things that I can think of that I see that really caused it to get as violent as it did, that he could have changed. But a lot of them aren't even his fault. So I think this guy seems, very honest. He seems fine. He's not yelling at her. He's staying calm. He's being the adult at this time.
But I don't want to sign it because I don't want to do $80.
You don't want to sign it?
No, because I don't think that I deserve to pay $80 for something that is fixable and I can fix it.
All right.
That's all you want
Go ahead,
to do.
step out of the car.
So this woman, first off, doesn't understand what she's signing. That's the first problem here. She thinks that if she signs that, she's admitting guilt. In the state of Oklahoma, this is apparently a thing that you're just signing, basically saying, I received this citation. I understand that. That's what you're signing. And it is law that if you don't, then you can be arrested and taken to holding, basically, for suspicion of whatever crime you committed. This is also kind of weird because I actually didn't even know that this was a thing. In the state of Washington, in the state of Alaska, in the state of Oregon, I've gotten tickets. Nobody makes you sign anything. They have your license, they have your registration, they have the car you were driving, they mail it in, and then you go to court from there. There's no reason for that signature to be required. So some states do require this. I don't know why. I actually can't think of a reason why you would do that, especially if other states are able to do it just fine. So this is the policy friction point that has caused this interaction to escalate. Had she not needed to sign it, he could have just dropped it in her lap and walked away, just like they could do in other states. So she doesn't understand what she's signing because he, for whatever reason, that's not been sent. Again, it could be her fault, but that's clear. She doesn't understand what she's signing. And two, we shouldn't even be here in the first place. Sorry.
Why?
Because you're under arrest. Step out. Step out of the vehicle.
No, I'm not.
Step out.
No.
Another piece is that she doesn't even understand the consequences of not signing the document. She doesn't realize, she has not been explained how this goes. I don't expect the average person who's driving around, 50-year-olds, 16-year-olds, however old fucking people have to be to drive. I don't expect them to know every aspect of the law. That's what cops are supposed to be. They're supposed not that they're interpreting the law or anything like that, but they should understand the laws that they're like a brake light or something. Like somebody who's writing you tickets all the time should be able to explain to you a law about the consequences if you don't sign that ticket. She also doesn't understand that.
Step out. I'm giving you a lawful order. Step out.
You be fair with me and I'll be fair with you.
Again, the cop is not amped up. The cop knows that this woman is just being a dipshit. That's fine. He's treating it fine, other than maybe she is again not clear on this. You can't always make people understand either necessarily. We don't see it. We don't see any attempts. Again, the video is clipped very specifically. Maybe they cut it for time. Probably. I mean, this interaction could have gone on for 20, 40, 45 minutes, an hour for all we know. But it is clipped. And so it is suspicious. It's not suspicious. It's just important to keep in our minds as we're going through this, as things maybe aren't making sense of how we got from one place to another, that we are receiving specific bits that could potentially be propaganda.
Step out.
No.
You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
I'm placing you under arrest. Step
You
out.
are full of because you're not placing me under under no arrest.
Do not
Again, another cut. Unexplained.
do not take
Oh,
off.
shut up and give me that and I'll sign it.
Step out.
No.
So now, she says, okay, I'll sign it. We don't know how long we got there, but maybe this is the moment that he actually sat down and said, hey, let me explain to you. Maybe in the last 60 seconds, he very calmly explained to her the consequences of her actions and what was happening, and what would happen if she didn't follow his orders. Now she's agreed to sign it. He could let her sign it. There's nothing that stops him unless there's policy. Maybe there's a policy in this place where once you say, I'm going to arrest you, you have to follow through. Maybe that's the thing. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure cops could do that whenever they want. He doesn't have to arrest her. He's not going to let her, now that she's surrendered, now that he's gotten what he had intended to get, he's not going to let that go. He could. There are people that would say, oh, a cop doesn't want to do this, like it's so much more paperwork, whatever. Yeah, well, if they didn't want to do all this stuff, if they don't want to be arresting people, then why when she is just like, okay, I'll sign it for you, and he could just walk away, why wouldn't he do that? That just doesn't make any sense. It's probably that he's pissed off, because she's been a fucking bitch to him for a really long time. Yeah, because she's being dumb, because she's not complying, because she's making his life difficult. Sure, maybe those are reasons too, but that's a bias. That's him giving into his emotions, his anger, his frustration when just choosing things, when making choices.
We're beyond that.
Not necessarily thinking about what will cause the least harm, what will expedite this process.
You want me
Step out.
So she runs. Obviously a big deal. When you run from the cops, it's a big deal, even if you're a fucking dipshit. I will acknowledge all of this. Note that we won't find out how much time. We don't even know how we got here. We'll get some context later that says that she said she stopped for him, so she literally could have stopped moments later. We don't know.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Why does he have a gun on her? Maybe you would say that it's because she's driving a vehicle erratically and he can't control her and he's concerned that she's going to kill somebody. This doesn't look like a very big town. This doesn't look like a very big community. In fact, I know it's not a very big community. The last census data is like 15,000 people in this county, which is nothing. It's like 15 people per mile or something, fucking square mile. I don't know why he's got his gun out. Is he going to shoot into there if she drives off again? Would we really want that? This doesn't look like a high-speed chase that he had to pit maneuver her for. She stopped willingly. Just a thought.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
No, when he actually wants to solve the problem, he puts his gun away. The gun goes away when he says, okay, now I actually need to solve this problem. But he goes for the gun as his first tool. Not literally. I mean, in this moment, he's obviously used other tools prior.
Car. Get out of the car!
You better leave me!
Did he need to throw her to the ground? She could have just fallen to the ground. She doesn't seem insanely hurt, but still think it seems excessive. She's a very old woman. I'm gonna guess. I can tell. I'm pretty sure this person uses male pronouns. Like, they probably are bigger than her.
Put your hands behind your
Leave
back!
me alone!
Put your hands behind your back! Now!
I said leave me alone. I mean it.
So, they're gonna say she assaulted an officer because she kicked that guy. I think we can all agree that this is not an insanely severe kicking this man gets from this woman. She's a toddler. She's a toddler, and we shouldn't allow this. She should get some sort of reprimand for this. But, you know, assaulted an officer is pretty loaded language for what just happened there. Tasers, sir. I think you're supposed to taser people in the back, tactically, because it's a lot more reliable. Listen to a huge podcast on tasers. It was really interesting. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Lay down and put your hands behind your back.
Tasers can fucking kill you. That's all I'll say. Tasers can fucking kill. She could have a heart condition. Bringing a taser out should not be considered an insignificant thing. It is a significant use of force. Was it necessary? She's lying on the ground, on her back, like a turtle. Like, why do we need a taser at this point? Sorry, she wasn't on her back. She was on her front. He's between her and the car. Nobody is threatening. We have plenty of time.
Put your hands behind your back. Now. No, you will not. You're going to get it again.
Another point where you could have, she's conceding, okay, I will stand up and then leave me a little bit of dignity, which will be this woman's problem. Again, if you could summarize, her problem is I need to leave with a little bit of dignity. I need to leave like I got a little bit over on somebody. That is her problem. She's fucking a child, but doesn't mean we can just turn off our brain. We should. Sorry, doesn't mean we should. We could.
Do you realize you just got yourself in a whole lot more trouble?
What?
For run?
Hold him here. I told you you weren't going to arrest.
She doesn't, again, she says, for what? What would I possibly be in trouble for? Because in her mind, she has so little understanding of what's happening. In her mind, you can just disagree with a cop because maybe when the last time she dealt with a cop, she looks like she's in her 50s, maybe 60s. Like, the last time she dealt with a cop could have been 40 years ago. When maybe they would have been like, whatever, who cares?
I pulled him here thinking that you would not.
Hurt?
Yeah, I'm hurt.
I pulled in here thinking that you would not. So she pulled over of her own volition.
What hurts?
Everything.
Alright, I got EMS on the way to see.
Hand on her, reassuring her, being very kind. This officer is not fearing for his life. He didn't, which is why we didn't need to use all these tools. Like, we could have just called one more person there, and it would have been, I think we would have gotten the job done. But we don't want to do that. We'd rather use tools. We'd rather use force. I don't know if I'm okay with that.
You got a what on the way?
I got an ambulance on the way to check you out.
Ambulance? I don't need an ambulance.
Well, you got tased, so they got to check you out.
You did not have to taser me.
You wouldn't comply, you wouldn't get out, and then you tried to kick me. So,
Why?
yes, I did.
Yeah, I tried to kick you because
Yeah.
I'm a country girl, because no, I
And
didn't
you got
like being
tased
thrown on
because
the
of
floor.
it.
I didn't like getting thrown on the ground. That's why I kicked you. Because she's confused as why she's being thrown on the ground. Because again, in her mind, she isn't even doing anything. Was it necessary to throw her on the ground? Probably not. Is it that big a deal? I don't know. She really isn't sympathetic, but that's the problem. A lot of this stuff happens to people who aren't sympathetic, and it makes it very easy to not look at it objectively. Yeah, this woman is, she's a pistol. She's a pistol. So
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I tried to kick you because
Yeah.
I'm a country girl, because no, I
And
didn't
you got
like being
tased
thrown on
because
the
of
floor.
it.
Yes, and I did.
So I think that this really is why this got released. I think her admission at the end of this video is very telling. I think that's why we know about this. They really felt like this was going to play well in their community. I didn't look up the department specifically to know for sure, but that's why we have this video here. So I think it's important to just remember that. Keep that in your mind, that when you see stuff like this that obviously ends with the cop with somebody being completely unreasonable, that there's probably a reason that we have it in our hands. So yeah, so just to read this article here, I just wanted to mention here. So in Seattle, we actually they did make people sign the traffic ticket prior to 2006, at which point we realized it wasn't a big deal. We don't need it anymore. We decriminalized it, which prevented it so that if somebody needed to sign something or whatever, it wasn't something where they needed to be arrested prior, like some of these other states. You just affirm that it was given. I mean, we trust an officer to basically say that you could have, that you ran the stop sign, so I wrote you a ticket. If we trust an officer enough to let them make that decision, then I don't know why we wouldn't be able to give them the trust to be able to say, yeah, I issued this person this citation, and they saw it. So I really don't think it makes any sense. So I think that is the core reason why this even became a problem in the first place, is that he has been trained, he was forced to follow that rule where he needed to make her sign it. And if that was just gotten rid of, and I guess this happens in Pennsylvania, this happens in Oklahoma, obviously, I think that would have solved it. As the last piece here to this, I just wanted to look at, this is the part that I've already seen this video, but this is the part I kind of wanted to react to in real time, is I wanted to get a sense for the comments. Reddit's comments are very biased towards male. It's very biased towards technical people, weird people. So I expect we're going to see some weird stuff. But I do think I always like to check the temperature to see what people are thinking when they see stuff like this. Because again, when I see a lot of these nuances, when I'm curious, when I'm like, yeah, she's a bitch, and yeah, she fucked up really bad, but, did she need to be thrown down? Did she need to be tased? Knowing that those are potentially lethal things for somebody with unknown medical conditions. It brings me a little bit of pause. I don't feel that sense of self-righteous justice that some people do. So I like to see the comments to see where the zeitgeist is. Sure, okay, so a funny joke, that's fine. Right. I didn't run. I told you you weren't going to arrest me. So this person, laughing. Ha ha ha, what a stupid bitch. Why didn't she know this about the cops? Why didn't she know that this was going to be a really big deal? She has literally probably not interacted with modern policing ever. She probably hasn't been arrested or seen a cop or talked to a cop, maybe even ever. But they laugh at it. That's the zeitgeist I'm kind of used to, kind of the simplified, you didn't need to tase me. Ma'am, you started kicking me. I didn't kick, well, I'm a country girl. Right? Why did you need to tase me? After he threw her on the ground. I think that's a valid question. She's getting back up. I don't think his life's in danger. I'm pretty sure he doesn't think his life's in danger. Why did you tase me? Curious to the answer to the question. But it's played as a joke, because that's, again, people love it's very simple, open and shut. Throughout, she was making her own rules. Officer wasn't having any of it. Of course she thought. She's treating the officer like he was her kid. She is dumb. We get it. Could she not just contest the ticket in court? Yeah, absolutely. She probably would have gotten exactly what she wanted had she gone to court, but she doesn't understand even the basics of the legal system. And we don't know for sure if the cop, we didn't see it, we don't know if the cop explained it to her. Yep. Agreed. We're talking about that. I can't afford $80. How about felony charges? I don't know. He didn't say that. We didn't see him say, ma'am, if you don't sign this, you're going to be committing a felony. Don't run from me. I mean, again, these things should be obvious to a lot of us, especially, I think we also get biased too because we're in America, and so we're just barraged with cops and live PD and even really funny shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine that I watch and I love and I think it's hilarious. I think it's probably the only cop show I can fucking handle. And CSI and all of that. We kind of just American-centrically just think everybody understands how interacting with law enforcement works. And they don't. Like, this woman in a rural fucking city doesn't get it. Yeah, she was a child. I'm a country girl. So my stepdad once told me, I have a sister who's 10 years younger than me, and when she was 6, we were getting in a lot of fights. We were arguing about shit all the time, and she would do things like, loser, really just dumb kid shit. And then I would make her cry by just being very sadistic or whatever to her. So one day she goes and cries to my stepdad, and my stepdad calls me and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Why is she crying? And I tell him, well, she was doing this shit, and she was doing that shit, and I was just responding. And he looks at me and he says, Alex, one of you has to be the adult, and it's not going to be the 6-year-old. Basically saying, hey man, you gotta be, it sucks. Sometimes life is not fair. Sometimes people have to be the adult. Sometimes somebody in a relationship is just not the person who's going to be that mature. That's a reality of life. Yeah, I am. If you, oh my God, if you, I don't know if, yeah, TI, which TI? Shit, that was TI 7. That was a weird year. Yeah, so, we expect the cop to be the fucking adult. That's what we expect. Because they're trained in the law, at least to an extent, theoretically. So they're expected to educate people, at least to the rudimentary parts of their interaction with them. They do need to be the adult, and it's totally not fucking fair, but that's my opinion. Cops have to be the adult, even when they're treated shittily, like this guy was, and how this lady was a fucking bitch. Or call somebody else. Sense of entitlement denied. Yeah, she did feel entitled. I get that. Feels good when entitled bitches get their shit. Not just women. Both women and men. Tasing grandma over a broken taillight. That is pretty fucking ludicrous if you put it in that context. Most cops probably don't think they're going to need to tase grandma because of a broken taillight. And realistically, they probably should. We probably could have found a different solution here. Yeah. She was not an athletic woman either. Good thing she didn't get hurt. That's great. All right. You can sue the department after the fact. We're 30 comments down. We finally got to the good ones. So, all right. Well, that's going to be the end of today's stream. Until next time, when I get pissed off about something else. Once again, I'm going to start posting these to a different channel. Kind of separately. I'll probably link to it at some point on my main channel. I'm going to try to minimally edit this stuff. I'll probably won't post this one because, again, this is the demo one. Or maybe I'll post it up and clip it up a little bit through the non-standard way. And I'm probably going to move to YouTube so that I can get minimal effect at just have minimal editing. These conversations literally start with coworkers sending me, the day's worst shit that pissed me off, and then having a 15-minute conversation with them and being really fired up about it, and then being told, hey, I need to go back to work at some point. So, yeah, hopefully we'll do more of these. Check it out on YouTube. Thanks for coming. I was going to say fuck the police, but I don't actually believe that. Let's fix the police. Holy shit. That's a great merchandising. Oh my god, hold on. Does that exist? Fix the police hat. Oh, it's a thing. Oh, good. It's not very good, though. I'm gonna fucking... Oh my god, I'm gonna make my own. Oh shit, I need to make my own fucking Fix the Police hat. Oh my god. There's two pieces of merch I want to make now. One of them is this, now that I invented it. I need to write this down so I don't forget it. And the other one is a legalized lane splitting shirt. But in the front, it's on the front and the back, the same text, basically the one I used in the video I did about legalizing lane splitting. But in the front, it's reversed, and in the back, it's like normal reading. So that as you're riding down the lane, people in their mirrors look and they're like, and so the people in front can see it say, legalized lane splitting, and the people behind you see legalized lane splitting. So I think that'd be fucking hilarious. So those are the two pieces of merch I need to make before my next video. I probably won't because that'll be out here probably this weekend. So, dude, merch is where it's at. And Amazon. I now know why Cycle Cruiser just plastered that all over his shit because you make way more money off of merch links. It's just so fucking dumb and easy comparatively. Even that like one thing I have has made me more than the videos will make in advertising in the next year and a half probably. So, all right. Thanks for hearing me out. Fix the police.